Alright, so today we're going to go over a Legend88 game. I have not done that in a while, and I felt like doing it tonight for reasons of complete randomness. I do like studying Legend88. I'm sure a lot of you do as well. Haven't really received any negative comments regarding the series, so that must mean most of you are enjoying it. So let's go over another one of his games. This time he is against someone. What is he against? A tygem 6-dan, and he is playing as black. Now, I have showed up until now a lot of really simple games that Legend has played. This is going to be a little bit more violent, so a bit more reading is going to be a must. However, I don't think it's going to require so much more reading that everyone's going to be just hopelessly confused. That is my hope. Alright, now okay, we got the 4 4s. Yep. That is 4 as well. And that is a 3/4 stone. Okay, I can see everything from where I am. I was a little bit worried that my setup was a little bit too far, the windows were a little bit small. But it looks like we're doing okay. Alright, so the 6-dan plays a 4/4 and a 3/4 stone. Whereas Legend88 just grabbed himself 2 4/4s, nice and balanced. Can't really draw many conclusions right now. Suffice it to say, we know with almost complete certainty that short of playing a Sanrinse, which I probably wouldn't be going over, Black's probably going to approach the 3/4 stone, because approaching the 3/4 stone is much more valuable than approaching the 4/4, because the 4/4 is much more open, 3/4 not quite so much. So alright. Black has to approach. He has high stones. He approaches high. Easy peasy. And now here's where things get really interesting. White plays there. So, what is the point of that? Why on earth would we play here? What is going on with that stone is the question here. Well, I think it's fairly obvious that we can see immediately that it's not to get territory, right? This is clearly an influential move, and we're attaching to the stone. So we know that this stone is not going to die, right? This black stone's not going to die. We're not like putting pressure on it. We are just telling it to respond to us so we can grow something on the top of the board. It's a bit of an unusual move by Mr. 6-dan. Because we can see in the middle of the board that there's nothing up here. I mean, if this stone was our opponent's, that'd be a different story. Be like, oh yeah, dude, totally, he's growing that area because he can do that, and the stone there makes that just go kerblam. So we'd understand that fairly simply. But here, this is going to be quite a stretch for him. Let's see what he wants to do with this. Well, black has options. He could play the Hane, or he can go directly into the corner. He decides to play Ye Ol' Hane. White's like, awesome. Gonna make myself some stuff here. Not play twice in a row, thank you. Black moves to settle. Now, this is gonna get complicated. This is gonna get complicated pretty quickly, because this cut point is very important, and we're going to see that immediately. Because when black plays the Hane again, I mean, what is white going to do? White's not going to be like, well, I guess I gotta protect myself now. No, of course not. That's way too small. Way too small. Give up your corner just for some dinky shape? Why would you need to do that when that corner was originally yours in the first place? No. What white's going to do, he's going to go for the throat and play the cut. So, okay. We are seeing an enormous... Why do I have headphones on my head? There's nothing to hear. So, what we're seeing here is an enormous influence-oriented strategy from our opponent. And my case, which, for reasons unbeknownst to myself, likes doing dumb things right now. Keeps humming. I need to buy a new one. But alright. So white is going influence-oriented strategy. Okay, great. Black chooses simply settle. Why not? This was not his corner initially, and yet he's picking up third line territory. He's not exactly complaining now, is he? We know white's going to respond, because the Hane at the head of 2 and 3 stones is pretty important right now. This is a really, really large move. So we know white's going to respond. So, alright, going to respond to that. I have a black stone somewhere. There we are. We know he's going to respond to that as well, for reasons that we can easily envision. If we don't respond to this and allow black to play, then what are we going to do? I mean, we're not going to lose our stones, but is this what we were really going after? Something like just getting this itty-bitty wall and maybe giving the entire left side and an extension into the center to our opponent? That's no good. That's no good. We're not playing that way. Alright, extending on out. As you do. Black says, I love this territory you're giving me, man. I'm just going to keep taking as much as you want me to have. White keeps building up. This is the most obvious player you can ever run into. There's no ambiguity here in what white's trying to do. It's like you can't look at this and think, what is white's goal? It's pretty straightforward. It's staring you in the face. The wall is spanning half the board. It's kind of hard to miss. White wants to do something there. Now, there are a few things that black can do. Black could say, I respect that wall, good sir. I'm going to simply enclose and see what you want to do with it. But I did mention that this game was fairly aggressive. So instead, black does not say, I'm going to be careful here. No. Black instead says, I'm going to peel off your face and use it as a hat. And thus goes, again, for the throat with a nice cut through. If we were one line lower, this would be very, very difficult to do, but we are not one line lower, so any push and cut, as we are seeing here, is not immediately killed, right? I mean, we can Atari it down as white, and what does that accomplish? It kills off our stones. So this is an issue. We need to figure out what we're doing here for white. And it starts to interrupt white's plans of just getting this free wall to use, however. So alright. Face peeled. Can't give up this because that's way too large. There's no outcome in the world which would have this being an even result. Wouldn't happen. This would be catastrophic. Can't let these stones die. It's just not in the cards. So alright, you have to live. Black defends. Could block here, but then that sente because of the cut. Here, even if he pushes again, the cuts are okay, so we can do something else. So here we are doing something else. I apologize if that weird noise from my case is bothering you in the video. I'm deeply sorry about that. I'm going to get a new case, is all there is to it. Because I can hear that, and I know it's going to come through the microphone. Alright. So here we go. Having to live. And you can see the cost immediately of having to do this, right? We had a nice, lovely little wall here. But now black's getting his share of influence too. So white says, I live. Black notices that's Gote, right? We've already gone ahead and made certain that we're alive here. So where's the large point now? Where's the large point? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Well, first thing that we can look for is sente moves. The only weak groups are ours. So how do we defend that in sente? Well, if we come out first, we're threatening a kill. That's pretty friggin' sente. White says no kill. And then black says no surround. Because we could play here, right? But then this would probably be Sente against the group. So now we actually have influence somewhere. It's not that great in my opinion, because black's still getting, you know, quite a bit. But it would be a lot better. So black says no surround. White says you aren't defending yourself with an extension, which means I can attack you. And immediately black does not screw around at all. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows all of this influence has to be used for one thing only, and that's to attack. So he gets shape and pincers. Not messing around with his group. He knows if he does not respect the influence that his opponent has, and this attack that he's performing on it, then that could go bad for him. That could go really bad for him. White comes out, something we don't usually see here, because typically there's typically nothing here for white. But he's really hoping to do something against this center group. Sorry, I checked encoder real quick. Thought I was dropping frames, guess I'm not. Alright, so black responds. Now how is he going to do anything about that group? How? Do you jump out again? Do you undercut it? Do you cap? And if so, where? While you're thinking about your lovely little preference, feel free to pause if you're watching this on YouTube later on, and think about what you'd want to do here. White decides to cap. But how are you going to actually respond to this is the question. And I am getting a phone call, so I'll be right back. Alright. Only when I'm doing something, I swear. Okay. So, white has now capped black. Black must decide what to do from here, because this is a little bit of trouble. A little bit of trouble. Okay, so can we live as is locally? Don't really see where that would take place, because we still have undercuts on both sides, so it must mean we need to run away. Alright. Now the benefit of running away, we can attack the group attacking us, because it's not completely alive yet. It has its fair share of problems. White says, I hurt you. Pokes threatens to connect, or cut through rather. Okay. That seems like a threat. Black cuts it off. We can see why. If it pushes it right now, it goes into a ladder, don't have to worry about it. Now there's some worrying involved. Now there's a little bit of worrying involved. So we connect. This way we maintain what we've been looking for, and that is keeping pressure against this group. We could not let this cut through. That would have been so bad if that happened. If this group was suddenly immortal, and this black group was worrying for its life, that'd be bad. Really, really bad. Connects up, has to, threatens a kill, defends 2 stones. Okay. Problem is that was Gote. Black's been made stronger. So usually, when something is pestering you in the Go game, and they've happily made you stronger, that's usually the right time to counterattack. But how would you counterattack? Another really, really good answer here, because if your first thought was, I'm safe, time to defend myself, that's bad. That means you've how to word this. You're not thinking about your opponent's stones anymore. You're just worried about your own and how to fix just yourself before you go back thinking about the rest of the board. But your opponent is on the rest of the board still, regardless of what you're doing. So you should really be thinking about how you can defend yourself while, you know, attacking, which is much, much better. So here, for example, we see this. Nice little poke against the 2 stones. Forces white to connect, can't be cut through, which goes immediately into a cut, right? Because we saw that there was a lovely large knight here. And because there's a lovely large knight here, we know large knights can be cut, just as we see here. Alright, so white hunts on the inside. Black has now fixed his cut point. I have lint on my shirt. There we go. Plays the Atari. Always save it. Connects up this stone. Okay. That one's in a little bit of trouble now. These 2 can probably hook up, so no danger there. But no danger to the middle group anymore either. This group is getting quite strong, is it not? White extends. Black extends. Question now, what's gonna happen there? Not a whole lot. Tries to connect to capture the stones. White's like that's, or black's like that's not gonna happen. I know what the problem here is, and I'm not gonna let you do it. I need to be strong here, and that's all there is to it. So he strengthens himself. The cost of which, he's surrounded. But that's okay, because he's fine in the center. And that was what the problem was. He was not distracted by the fact that, oh no, our corner was going to be surrounded. He kept his eye very, very clearly on the fact that, oh no, my center is under attack. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're surrounded. That's kind of unfortunate. But we're not getting ourselves killed, and that's the important part. Even getting surrounded in Sente. But as long as we're not dying in the middle, we're probably doing good. Now, white continues and plays here. And for the sake of not ever getting into a ko, this is where I demonstrate how weak I am, and I probably respond to that. I'd be like, no, I do not want to see this move ever again. Thank you very much. But black's like, hey, dude, I've got this thing over here. It's a weak group. I don't know. I'm stronger. You haven't played a stone here in about a century or so. So I guess you don't like it. I'm going to attack you. Makes sense. Makes sense. Our counterattack hinged on the fact that those group of stones were not terribly strong, right? And they've not been helped ever in this fight. So, okay, there we go. Had to defend. Threatening a gorgeous surround on the stones. White tries to fight back. Black says, I have you cut 2 ways. White says, really? And black replies, yeah, really. So this is now cut. This is where we realize that white has a serious problem on his hands. Because we can count to 2. We are good. We have passed preschool. And as such, we can identify there are 2 groups on this board that are being created right now. And neither of them... and not both of them are going to enjoy life. It's impossible. You can only defend one at a time. So what's he going to do? He's going to extend and say, I'm going to surround you. Black says, whatever. So a little bit of reading required here, because we have to decide, like, does this work? Can I, like, push it? Does this push not, and then the extension here? Are we still okay? White says, no, you're not. Black says, you're not getting those stones either. White says, what about cut points? Black says, yep, that's a cut point. Don't mind if I do. So an interesting fight is breaking out here that some of us would miss, because some of us wouldn't want shenanigans happening in our corner. But sadly, larger things are afoot, such as this middle bit. This glorious center wall that has become a severe liability. All we have to do is not die. That is our goal. Just don't let these cutting stones get killed. Is white profiting a little bit, potentially, but with this wall on the bottom? Yeah, no black stones are there, so maybe. But is black making out like a bandit in the middle? You better believe it. Let's see, this isn't really threatening the group over there, so black turns. I mean, why not? That's not doing anything. Tries to surround. Black set. Oh wait, that black does say yes. I need blackstone. There we go. Black says I poke. White surrounds. Cuts through. Removes liberties, forcing to capture the 2 stones. Because we remove liberty there. And now it's down to 2. Black has no choice but to go back and kill. White gets stronger. A little bit anyway, a little bit. Oop, careful. Let's not make a mess. Doop. There we go. White throws in, as I'm sure you all knew he was going to. Which, of course, gets taken. Not giving up those stones. And then the Atari, forcing him to connect. Now, to be fair, this is one ugly group of stones, but it made a kill, so it did something. It did something. White's turn follows up with the ugliness that would have me crying because I'm bad at Ko. But black says, it's all good, I can play Ko. Ko's easy. Don't know what you're worried for. Alright, so there we have Ko over the 2 stones. Black takes. Ah, wrong turn. Ah, there we go. Threatens a capture, which I thought was interesting. I thought this next move was really, really interesting. Because everybody would immediately just be like, okay, yeah, I've got to take that immediately, because I can't let him do that. That's bad. I mean, he'll just you know, Atari me, and then I've got a bunch of stones being captured. But black's just like, well, you know what? I think you just gave me another stone, because even if you take that, this is going to be false if this is not connected to anything living. Then you're going to have to fill that. So what do you... Where are your 2 eyes from this? They just don't exist. So he surrounds. Doesn't take. Forget that nonsense. Just kill it all. Legend is my kind of player, man. Alright, so we've got Ko again. Black says, you've got like 1 billion cut points. There's so many problems here. You're gonna respond to this. And white agrees. Like, yep, those are 1 billion problems. Can't let you do that to me. That'd be bad. So black takes. White plays the Atari, threatening to capture the 5. Well, probably the 4. Because if he cuts, then I guess black would just fall back here and not connect and lose even more. But, you know, it's a threat. Responded to. And takes, I think. Yes. Nice Ko, threatening to kill all them things. Can't let that happen either. And we take back the stone while making a little bit of a mess. White continues the threats on the left-hand side. Black descends, because there are now 3 liberties there. To the 2 if white cuts, so who cares, we're good. So white retakes. Are there any other threats here? I mean, we can do that, but it's small, not as nearly as large as that. Anything over here probably isn't going to be sufficient, because we can do that, follow it up, and just watch our corner die. Can play the enclosures, but those are kind of small. Only other place we can play, hopefully in Sente, is the corner here. See if we can unsettle this bit. And White responds. White actually responds to there. A little bit surprising. It's just a little bit surprising to me, but he does. He does. More threats. White sees himself as having 800 million co-threats, so he's going to respond to all the things. Cuts. White responds. So we're going to continue the threats. On and on and on we go. Do have to respond to the Atari. And white retakes. Black plays the Atari, and white saves all the things. He is firmly in the belief that this is a Ko that he is going to win. Because he has a lot of threats on the left-hand side, so we can see why he's thinking that. Alright, so that got defended. Black threatens a capture. White says nope. And the Ko continues. Just goes on and on and on. White cuts through. Black responds in a way that allows him to do more down here later. Response obtained. Ko has resumed. Black connects. White says, that's something I'm not responding to. I'm gonna kill all the things. He's not just connecting, mind you, he's actively trying to kill the entire corner. Black retakes as a result. White says, I still have threats. Black's okay, because he still has 3 liberties, 2 on each side, so he's okay. Retakes Ko. Now we have Ko factory down here for black if white wants to keep responding, which he seems inclined to do. And more threats for white. What is this? Longest Ko I've ever gone over? I think it might be. I think it might be. Another threat, threatening to kill off the down stones. And we go back to the Ko again. Maybe the reason why I haven't gone over a Legend88 game in a while is because I knew I wanted to go over this one, and I really dislike Go. Could be it. Could be it. Whose turn? I got that right, yeah? Yeah, I just took. Okay. So here's an interesting one. Threatening to perhaps isolate the center group. Okay, not going to happen. Just keep getting more and more. But because of this stone, we now have even more threats. We have a veritable factory of them now. Okay, 2 liberties. That's a problem. Need to do something there. Okay, something's been done. Back to the co. That is never, ever going to end. Another threat. And back to the co. Wow, I honestly did not realize the co was this friggin' long. White says I'm going to connect everything. Black finally says, no you aren't. And now, who is the one who is actually reading here becomes the question. White cuts off. Black is forced to cut as well. So who is reading this out? Is it black or is it white? Because this is huge. This is not something that you can be wrong about. He's not just like, yeah, whatever, I probably don't have any more threats left, I'm just going to connect and save my corner, and then lose all of the stones. So what does black have in mind? What does black have in mind? You, scoot over to the left a little bit. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Room for stones. Ah. And that's neat. Might be. Black says, I can start here. Okay. And then we're going to continue onwards. White puts out a ladder breaker. Can respond to it once. You can play that out if you don't believe me. Still good. The extension, though, is too much. Now that is very, very, very broke. So we get rid of those. There we go. Ah! Off the board. There we go. Surrounding corner. Double hunt out of 2 stones. Black defends. White aggressively continues following, trying to get as many points as possible. Wait, how did that, no, you don't get to play twice, that is illegal. Black gets to play, and then white gets to play. Alright, these are the rules that we've agreed upon for this game. Let's try to follow them. Alright, so at this point, we've got white attempting to really surround this group here. And maybe do something on the bottom. What? Not really certain. But there's a lot of Aji here. So black Atari. White connects. Black Atari. White extends. Which is a colossal mistake. Because this threatens double ladder. Tries the Hane. You can't read this out. It's quite okay. fairly involved. White takes. Black Atari. White has to connect. Atari. And then ladder. Horribly captured. Nowhere to go. White plays out a few moves, probably because he's surprised, I guess. He knows this is a ladder. But I guess he felt to play a couple of stones before he just resigns. So in the end, he completely gets shut down. I mean, this is a mess. That's dead. Those stones were just slaughtered. Any hope of white doing anything on the bottom is completely gone with the creation of this wall. There's no real territory to speak of here or here. He just has no points. He has no points to speak of whatsoever, and he still has just Aji remaining everywhere. He's never going to be able to come back into this game. So this is a bit more violent game against the tygem 6-dan. But still fairly easy to follow. Still reasonably easy to follow, I felt. I mean, we can see when things were getting complicated, we saw his priority here. He didn't get distracted when white made the attempt to on his corner. He saw what was important. He saw what he could still attack. So at his earliest convenience, he went back and made himself stronger, attacked the wall, which went really, really well for him. I was worried about the Ko, but he had so many threats that he was able to get through that fairly well. In the end, white simply could not find enough of them to keep up, and wound up having to resign. So all in all, still a pretty good game from Legend. I think I'm going to jump up to some of his 7-dan games if I can. I have to review what I have access to again, see which ones are good. I think I've almost exhausted almost all of the good wait, what have I uploaded? 3. Yeah, there might be 1 or 2 more 5-dan games to go over. And then I'm probably going to look at some of the 7-dan games, because he went up from 5 to 7, keep in mind, right? There's no batch of 6, except for the odd one here, where he played a 6 as a 5-dan. Or vice versa, if he plays a 7-dan, and if he plays a 6-dan as a 7-dan, there might be a few 6s in there as well. But it does go straight up to 7-dan and then to 9-dan. So you can look forward to that. I will be doing more of that recently. I've been distracted with other things, but I do intend to finish off this Legend88 series. I know a lot of you guys are enjoying it. So you can look forward to that. And I will, of course, see you next time. Take care, everyone.